It's a rooming house. I just rent a room.
Rooming houses are illegal by virtue of ordinance. Just want to put that out there.
Unlivable situations. I've had to deal with bugs, the basement flooding.
Show me the mold.
You see the lizards? This is the mold here in the bathroom.
Are you saying the oven doesn't work?
No, it doesn't work. We don't have any smoke detectors, and they're just getting scot-free away.
This tenant lives in a hellhole. There seem to be very few redeeming qualities about it, except that it has been a roof over her head while she has welched on rent for the past 7 months. Mold definitely is a health concern, and you can't bake special grown-up brownies without an oven.
All right.
And the lizards? Well, I think the little lizards we have in Florida are cute, but you definitely don't want them in your house. It's amazing to me how different two states' laws can be. This tenant's issues in Michigan would be a stop the presses moment, but in Georgia, it's just Tuesday. Let's roll, nerds.
So I'm going to start with the plaintiff. I'm going to give an opportunity for everybody to speak, but I like to start with the plaintiff just to understand what's going on. And then I'll hear from the defendants, and then we'll determine what the law requires of these facts. All right. So who wants to go first, Ms. Nugent-Smith or Walton?
I'll say Ms. Harrison rented the space and has not paid.
Okay.
So we asked,
well, let me
go ahead.
No, I'm going to ask you just some specific questions. It just helps it go along. I know there's a lot of different things that happen in these cases. So first and foremost, let me know if this is a written or an oral agreement.
Written.
Okay. And is it month to month, or is it set to expire on a certain date or a month?
Month to month.
All right. And how much is monthly rent?
So she prefers to pay weekly, $165 per week.
$165 per week, just so I can understand that, because we usually do these things on a monthly basis.
Right.
All right, hold tight. So 165 times 4, about 660.
About that.
Okay. Is there any agreed to late fee? I know it's weekly. I'm not sure if they're.
Yes, 10%.
10%. So that would be $66 if applicable. And then last time, any of the tenants from any source paid rent?
So the last rent that was paid looks like March.
Okay.
And that was 641. So I'll say that on February 21st, her rent was current.
Mm-hmm.
And it has not been current since. Even though she paid on March 25th, there was a balance of $35.
Okay. So $35, and then April, May, June, July, August, September, and then 28 days in October. So
And
6 months, 28 days, and $35.
So can I say that the monthly rent is is 600 or 715, because it's 165 per week. So it's more like
165 per week.
165 per week. So it's more like times 4.33 to make it
Hold on.
714 and 45 cents.
Hold on. How do you get, what do? You do times, what, 4.5? Is that what you're doing?
If you do 165 times 52 divided by 12, that's 715. So it does work out to be 715 per month.
Okay. Is that what you've been paying? Or has she been paying 165 a week?
She pays 165 per week. So if we were to determine what the monthly rent, if you're going
to, yeah, I mean, I guess it just depends on the month, and obviously.
Right. So it does work out to be 715 per month if you want to calculate per month.
Okay. Well, let's first address, you've got 6 months, 28 days, $35 in an oral, month to month. It's a written agreement, but it's a month to month agreement. and is what you're alleging, and that they have not paid ultimately since March, but they still owed a $35 balance since then. And then if we're looking at it here, we would ultimately have 28 days in October, since it's technically not the full month. There'd be 3 days remaining, as well as 6 months in between from April through September. Is that correct? Ms. Nugent-Smith?
So are we trying to determine what the total amount that's due right now?
Yeah. And the amount of
lost me.
time. So I'm looking at the amount of time. So
Okay, the amount of time.
So $35, right?
Yes.
And then April through September.
And so for April, May. So because I did it by the month as we're speaking right now, right?
Not that complicated, folks.
Okay,
I think there's
I
the right
know.
numbers. Okay. All right. So we'll move along. Anything else that the plaintiffs have? All right.
No.
Then we'll move along to the defendant. So, Ms. Harrison, I just need to confirm with you, as well as Mr. Warren, did either one of you sign a lease with Ms. Nugent-Smith or Ms. Walton, or both of you, or neither of you?
I signed a lease with Rochelle, Miss Nugget. The other lady, Miss Manafee, they are Miss Rochelle owns the house. Miss
Okay.
Manafee them took over the property, I want to say, in June. So I haven't signed a lease with Manafee, the new property management. And yes, our lease is month to month, but we pay week to week.
Okay. And how much is that week to week amount?
165.
165. Is there a late fee that you're aware of?
Every time it comes on my account, it's just a late fee, and it says $65 for late fee.
Okay. All right. And all right.
And it's a rooming house. It's not like I own the whole house. I just rent a room out of the house.
Let me tell you, Ms. Nugent-Smith and Ms. Walton, just as I remind everybody, technically in DeKalb, rooming houses are illegal by virtue of ordinance.
And I did the research on that as well.
Just want to put that out there. I'm not about to be policing you like that, but just be aware, you can't do that here in DeKalb. You got to have a special, there are special circumstances where that's allowed. I know that is needed because people need affordable housing, but there's many reasons why doing rooming houses without certain things being in place are not good for the community overall. But with all of that being said, you still guys have reached an agreement with these monetary amounts. So just tell me, Ms. Harrison, with that being said, when's the last time you paid rent?
It was in March, and I spoke with Rochelle. My jaws were back and forth, back and forth. Rochelle was allowing me, all of my documents I couldn't upload along with videos to start there so that you could see exactly what I was speaking on. I did upload some of the documents as far as my payments.
Mm-hmm.
Rochelle was allowing me to make partial payments. She was working with me like I was working with her. I don't know if you saw some of the videos that I uploaded, but I was living in kind of unlivable situations. The basement, I'm living the basement part of the house. It flooded. She didn't compensate me for any of that. During the time her cousin was...
Let's slow down so I can just make sure I address everything.
I'm sorry, it's a lot. I've been here like 5 years, so it's
okay.
A lot. I'm sorry,
So
I'm talking too fast.
let's talk within reason here. In the period between, let's just say from January till now, this year, what has happened that you're saying is of issue?
For one, the biggest thing is here back in July 2nd, a tree fell on my car. Our case was here before, and I stated I didn't have insurance on my car. That's why I had it parked in the driveway where I've been parking for the last 5 years. Once the tree fell on my property, I called Rochelle to let her know, hey, this tree just fell on my car. Rochelle's exact words to me was, call the property manager. I sent those, I uploaded those to you as well. She told me that there wasn't going to pay for my car. I said, well, I'm not asking you, how about your homeowner's insurance? Never got back in touch with me. Every time I tried to reach out to Rochelle, she told me to call the property manager, which was Tiffany. I have recordings of where I called Tiffany. She's saying that on the lease, we couldn't park in the driveway. And I stated to her, well, I've been living here for 5 years. I've been parking in the driveway. Rochelle never said we couldn't park in the driveway. So then they sent out a bulletin saying that we had to park on the street.
I got it. And that, and not to stop, I mean, to me, I'm not your lawyer. That might be a separate claim. I understand there's an allegation. Well, I mean, yes and no. I mean, you're saying that your car got damaged because of something going on the property, and ultimately, you have a property damage claim, but that would very well be against this individual, your landlord, for whatever reason. Um, I- that wouldn't be
Because
the most ideal place for us to deal with this, but let me just before we get more in depth and kind of get lost, because that's another issue in and of itself, particularly where you're saying that there may have been a contract that said you're not to be allowed to park in the driveway. But tell me this. So after this, that was in July. Obviously, you've got April, May, and June past due. Anything else beyond that when the car got after, other than the car being crushed by the tree?
yes, I mean, I've sent her pictures. I've also uploaded the pictures to you where I've had bugs. I've had to deal with bugs in my house. I've had to deal with the basement flooding. She didn't put me into a
When's the
hotel.
last time the basement flooded?
That was in that was last year, the end of last year, the beginning of this year, I want to say. Whatever the videos that I sent you that I uploaded is when I had to live with all the big vacs that was going on because she didn't put me into another spot. She didn't offer me
I know,
another spot.
but was this any time in between the
This
periods of
was
time that you were saying that you ultimately did not pay rent, or at least in the months of February?
No, I was still paying the rent because I didn't have anywhere to go. So I still paid my rent. I still paid my rent.
Okay.
And like I
That,
said, I was paying my rent. I was not paying it on time. I can honestly tell you I was not paying it on time. But I have receipts of where I was behind on my rent and it was 2,000 and something dollars and I paid that rent. Like I said, Rochelle was working with me on paying my rent. If I didn't pay it on time, I would call her. She was okay with it. Once Manafee
I got
took over the property, they sent me a note saying that they didn't want any partial payment. They wanted everything up front, and I didn't have that amount up front.
Miss Harrison, I get that. That unfortunately is not the crux
Yeah.
of what's really going on. And so I really am just trying to understand. You've got a big non-payment. You're saying there's some issues with the property, obviously with a flooding of the basement where you reside. We've got a tree that fell on the property. And after July, is there anything? After July, did anything else occur?
Well, Miss Manafee came out with the police. I thought that they were coming out to serve me with eviction papers, and she called the police and said that she was just trying to keep the peace. Where me and this lady never had any problems. I never had any discussion with her. So when she left, our piece of our
But
property was
any
missing.
things involved with the condition of the property? And people often have disputes, and people call the police. But like the condition,
Yes, I'm living with.
livability.
Yes, there's mold in my bathroom. I uploaded the pictures of I have traps around my
Clerk,
house.
can you please upload that, because I haven't seen any of these documents in the file. And you said
Yes,
you have traps where?
I'm at the house now where I can
Yeah.
show you where I have traps all over my house where because like I said, I'm in the basement
What
and
kind of
there's
traps?
traps of bug traps where I can show you now, Your Honor. Like I said, I'm
Well,
at the house now.
show me the mold. Bugs tend to be that's bugs. Unless you I've seen
This is
roaches and
how
stuff.
bad is. This is I don't know how
Outside
to
of the
switch my
mold in the
camera.
bathroom, what else is going on?
This is what I have to look at every day when I come. These are different. You see the lizards? This is what I'm dealing with. This is the mold here in the bathroom.
Okay. All right. There's
This is the
clearly
mold that's
there.
here in the bathroom, and I've stated that to them. That's the
All
bathroom.
right. What else is going on? Show me the rest of it.
This is the kitchen area. I'm in the kitchen area. This is traps that I have to constantly change out and
When's the
switch
last
out.
time you changed them out?
This was just changed out a month ago. just last month, and this is reoccurred
I
since
got
a
you.
month.
And
My
what else you
oven,
got going on?
the oven part, it doesn't work. This is the piece that she had ordered for the oven. Her and Miss Manafee
Are
came
you
by.
saying the oven doesn't work?
No, it doesn't work. The oven, this part of the oven, it doesn't work. Let me
Which
turn
one
the
you say? You mean the oven part, not the stove top?
not
That
the
you're saying?
stove, the oven part where you bake at. Her,
Okay.
Miss Manafee, and Rochelle came over, and she's because Miss
So
Rochelle,
it's okay. Listen,
she
you
ordered
don't
the
have to get
part.
that detailed. I just want to know what doesn't work. So
Yes,
I mean, I understand there may be a story that led up to that, but what else, if anything, doesn't work?
we don't have any smoke detectors.
Okay.
No smoke
Any-
detectors. This is my room. I can go upstairs to the other part of the house to show you other smoke detectors that are not in the room, that are not working.
I got it. Anything else?
Didn't get that. Could you try again? No.
Okay.
No.
Well, then just hold tight. Mr. Warren, did you have anything? I understand. Did you sign the lease? Are you actually on the lease, or are you individual?
We stay in the same house. I stay in a whole different room. Her section is way bigger than my section was.
Well,
I just had a bathroom in the closet. I did sign the lease though.
okay, hold on. Miss Nugent Smith, if this is a rooming house, were you trying to evict Mr. Warren?
No,
Mhm.
I don't know why he's here.
No,
Okay.
I left because I kept having health problems from that house in general.
Can I finish, sir?
Well, hold on. So I just want to understand, because I see Mr. Warren answered, and I didn't know obviously that this was a rooming home before
Mhm.
house before we got
Yes.
into it. So, Mr. Warren, they're not pursuing an eviction against you. Now you have to be clear now, because you didn't put all others, so that's fine. But you answered they weren't trying to evict you. Are you just trying to be here as a witness for Miss Harrison?
Yes, because I am a
Okay.
tenant that stay in the house as well.
And you
I
still
was a
stay in the
tenant. I
house,
left.
but you
I
don't
left
live there
because
anymore.
I left because of the health problem. Because I recently just came from the health. I have asthma, and you know, like she said, there's mold in the house. So I had a room there. My room had a bathroom and just a closet. You see, her room had a stove. That's the whole basement.
No, I get that, but what I'm saying is, when did you last live there?
Before the first, recently. I recently moved up out of there.
I didn't realize he was a witness, folks. They had him identified as a party. All right. Well, Mr. Warren, you're essentially a witness. And when did the last time you lived there?
Before October 1st.
Before October 1st. Okay. Well, hold tight. We're gonna put you to the side. And
Good.
Miss Nugent Smith, I'll let you answer her Miss Harrison's complaints about the stove, as well as the bugs and the obvious mold in the bathroom.
Okay, so we do have regular pest control, Massey. It's paid for quarterly, and we do have the ability to contact them, and they'll come out if there is an issue. And as a matter of fact, they do have Miss Harrison's info as a point of contact because she has informed me in the past about some other bugs that came through the window. And I let her know that, yeah, if there is an issue, I did provide your info with Massey and you can contact them. They do have your name as the resident, a resident in the house. And I was not aware of those traps. I didn't know those
They
issues.
came from Macy's.
I don't go.
It's okay. Okay, so you're just saying, Miss Nugent Smith, you didn't know.
I
Right?
didn't.
You're
know.
saying she had the ability to go and you didn't know. Tell me
Yes.
about the mold.
The mold.
No.
Again, I didn't know. I have not been inside that house in.
Did you not get any notice? Or maybe
No.
Miss Walton, who's your property manager? Miss Walton, did you receive any notice or complaints regarding mold or the bugs?
No, sir, we have not. And basically, I was never able to get into the unit each time that we went and we sent. I was looking in the paperwork where you'll see in there where we did send them notification because the room. Give you a little history if you don't mind. There's two rooms down there. It was her boyfriend, Mr. Whitehead, had one room which he said, "Hey, I know I owe." He left, and then Miss Harris now. So basically, the two of them was living there, and I never had access to the property except for the one time that I went with Miss Harrison.
Okay.
And so we had no access. We had no access to the property. We tried to get in several times. We even have notification where we sent out to the property telling them that pest control was coming to the property.
Your Honor, I don't mean to cut.
No, no. Well, I'm just going to ask you a question. You don't need to cut me off. I'm asking, when's the last time you gave them notice, written particularly, about this issue with the mold?
It was
be via email or text. What
it
did you
was
communicate with it?
it was verbal. It was verbal. I called Rochelle. I spoke with Rochelle.
When was
Rochelle
this?
told me back in April, I want to say. And Rochelle, like I said, I uploaded messages where I spoke with Rochelle, and she constantly tells me she has nothing to do with it. Contact the property manager. Contact the property manager. Contact the property
I
manager.
understand.
And they're saying that they don't have access to the house. Our house doesn't even have keys. We have digital locks.
Wait, I get that, and that's fine. So, Ms. Nugent Smith, Ms. Walton, what we have is this. You're saying that she told you orally, and let me tell you, Ms. Harrison, telling people orally is not the best means of communicating a complaint regarding the condition of a property. When people gonna send you letters via written telling you what their problem is, taking the time and only calling is not going to give you that status of saying I actually told somebody. I don't know why people do that, but just telling somebody over the phone ain't really giving you no evidence about what's
But
going on.
that's how me and
What I
Miss
can't
Rochelle,
ignore,
that's
I know,
how we
but I
communicated.
got it. I understand. It's just not the best way to communicate in business. But Miss Nugent Smith, the issue is that there's an obvious mold issue in the basement. As far as the insects, there are quite a bit of insects there, but I don't think that deems a property uninhabitable, Miss Harrison. From what I've seen on your phone, your camera, it appears to be fine. What your complaints are, I understand that the oven doesn't work, and that's a concern. But that again wouldn't deem the property uninhabitable. So what we have a condition where we have some repair issues that you should receive some type of a credit for. But obviously, you've got what appears to be a near $5,000 worth of unpaid rent associated with this particular matter. So I'm going to give you some credit for the inconveniences associated with that. As far as the car is concerned, I am not going to rule on the argument of that. Any counterclaim associated with your vehicle damage, that would be something that you could potentially bring independently or separately associated with that. But I think that we're going to proceed on. I'll let Ms. Harrison say one last thing before I look at these numbers, okay?
So what as far as with my car? So that's just going to be a total loss. I mean, they've been threatening me of towing the car at my own expenses. They've been threatening me since July to have my car towed, and the car is still here. Like I said, there's a lot of documents that I have that I tried to upload that wouldn't let me upload. They've been sending out emails, letters, threatening me that they're going to have this car towed at my expense.
Ms. Harrison. So the issue with the vehicle is that in some ways is an independent action. It's not a personal injury against you. It's an injury against the property during the time that you were staying there. I'm not saying it's not applicable. I'm just saying in the totality of the circumstances in this case, I don't know if you've gotten your car repaired. I don't know if you've gotten it totaled.
I can show you the car.
So there's I don't need you to show me the car. Sit down. Sit down. Sit down. Sit down. Unless certain evidence about the car is even presented, like did you get the car identified being totaled by an insurance company?
I did. I have the paperwork for that. I have the paperwork for that. I tried to upload it. Like I said, this is the second time that we've did virtual court. We was in court last Tuesday before last. The judge tried to get us to come back in the courtroom because I was trying to explain to the judge I have so many videos, so much stuff that I can upload. I even have documents.
The car is a different.
I have documents of them saying that my car is totaled. they're not going to even do anything because I didn't have insurance on the car. So they sent me paperwork stating of how much the car is. The car is totaled. It's totaled.
I understand.
And they're just getting scot-free away with all the stuff that they're
again,
doing.
I don't know if that's the case. And
I have the documents, Your Honor.
I think it would be, I understand. But what I'm thinking about at this particular case is with the vehicle damage, that is particularly if there's a statement that says in the contract, you're not to park in the driveway, and then there's an issue about whether or not you've been able to do so for the last 5 years. That's a real question, a fact that I can consider, but I think it would either be more appropriate for that matter to be spring separately, particularly when you have a money judgment for non-payment of rent. And if the car, depending on the value, particularly if it wasn't running, what that value is and how much, if anything, would offset. So I think it's, in my opinion, and what I'm going to do is that particular claim won't be dismissed or won't be considered. That'll be a claim that you can bring independently because that needs to be truthfully dealt with any insurance. If there's a claim against her personally, that's going to be something more that needs to go into it more in detail. Okay. So as far as just past due rent, I've got over $49.37.85, but in consideration of the issue with the mold, in consideration of the issue with the outstanding insects, as well as the stove, we're going to give some consideration on a monthly basis of that. And Ms. Nugent-Smith, you had one other statement before I give you the numbers.
The total rent due as of today is $5,515.50.
And so I've got it, and I did it actually by the day, but no reason to argue with me. But what I'm saying to you is I broke it down by 165 divided by 7 based upon the amount of time that she's been there. So I know you may have different numbers, but that's how I got my number, the 6 month, 28 days, 35. But again, I'm going to give her credit regardless, associated with the damages that have been there. And I'm going to give that on a monthly basis here. And ultimately, that would be 7 months worth of time dealing with these particular conditions.
May I say something? Ask a question, Your Honor, please.
Sure.
Okay. So basically, what I was wanting to know is that I know you said that if we don't have it on file, you wouldn't be able to see it. But the unit was immaculate since she went down and she did like a total renovation on that unit since that flood. Everything was immaculate. And if we had a problem with bugs, if we had a problem with the stove not working, if we had a problem with mold, if we had a problem with all these other things, would it not somewhere be in writing or something, text? I mean, we have text nowadays. We have everything that we can send.
We just took over the property.
That was an issue.
Y'all just took over the property, so
Okay.
you don't know the extent of
Stop,
everything.
please stop talking, folks.
Mm-hmm.
I'm very patient, but let me remind you that we've got a lot of the cases to get to. That's going to be $150 for the month, the 6 month or 7 month period of time that it's been there. So that's going to be a $900 reduction in the total judgment. So that's going to be a total judgment of $4,037.85. One thing that you can't dispute is that she just showed me a picture where there's clearly mold right there in the bathroom, right? And unfortunately, I've been doing this long enough. Most people who are not landowners and business people, they don't usually write things down to communicate. They call people. That's what they do, because most people like to call people. It's not the wisest thing to do to make complaints, but most people call, right? Because that's what we're taught to do, call to make a complaint, not put it in writing. Now, that has consequences, but it doesn't surprise me when people tell me they call. Because I can see it I can see clearly in the bathroom. It's there. Can't dispute that. Can't dispute the bugs in the corner. Can't dispute that. So let's move along. So it's going to be $4,037.85 right on the 28th. Okay, we'll move along. I'll get you guys a copy of the order, and then we'll deal with some concerns.
For me, correct?
You have nothing going on, Mr. Warren. You are free to go. You're not even a party to the case.
Oh, but wait. She.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Mr. Warren, you're not a party to the case. I'm not sure how you're
right.
Here. You don't want to be a party. It's all good. You were a witness, and I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
You guys are free to go. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, sir.